Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching and your host on this series. This is the place where you ask a question and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Each week on Friday, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. I also talk about various other life renewal topics. Please know that I am not a therapist and I will never tell you what you must do. Let's go ahead and get going with the questions for this week. Our first question comes from Bernadette, who is in Vancouver, Canada. Bernadette writes, I'm deeply concerned about my brother who is suffering from cancer and would like to know if there is any way I can help him energetically. Can I send him healing energy? He doesn't believe in anything that he can't see and touch. Would helping him this way be overstepping a boundary? That is a very good question, Bernadette. And the answer is, it depends. It depends on what you're actually doing. If you are saying a prayer, yes, that is totally fine. If you are energetically sending him energy, that is not okay. That is overstepping a boundary. And it's overstepping a boundary because he has free will. If you ask him if it's okay to do that, then fine, you can certainly do it. But if he hasn't given you permission to send him energy, that's a no-no. What you end up doing is creating karma, and you don't want to do this. When someone sends you energy without your permission, it is a violation of one of the universal laws. And that violation is about the person's free will. That does not mean that you're not able to send a prayer to whomever you pray to ask for help and guidance and healing for your brother. That is totally fine because you're asking the universe for help. That is something actually I recommend, and I know that it does work. Prayer does work. It's just that you want to make sure that you're praying to whomever you believe in for help for your brother or for anybody. You don't want to do it yourself. I hope that answers your question. And thank you for sending it. I've actually had people in the past tell me that they've sent energy to other people, and I almost cringe when I hear that. I've also had someone say that they felt energy from another person and it felt weird because they had specifically asked the person not to do anything and the person did it anyway. You don't want to overstep a boundary. All right, our topic for today is the rising sign, which is the sign that is on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. Sometimes that rising sign is called the ascendant. Both are the same. The rising sign is important because of several reasons. One, this is your personality and how you're going to present yourself out into the world. It's the cloak or the clothes that you wear when you're conversing with someone or interacting with the world. You might have your sun sign or your Mercury sign or your, the other parts of your makeup in other areas, but not on the eastern horizon. That eastern horizon becomes a filter. And that's what the other person who is talking to you or interacting with you meets, that rising sign. In esoteric astrology, it is said that the soul makes its intention known to the personality through the rising sign because it's the soul birthing itself into this incarnation. The rising sign is also the point of birth. It's that moment that you are born into this incarnation, and it represents the body, the physical form, in addition to how you're presenting yourself out in the world. If you don't know your ascendant or your rising sign, the way to get it is to know the exact time of your birth, because every few minutes we get a change in degree from, say, 2 degrees to 3 degrees to 4 degrees of a particular sign. If you're born at the tail end of a sign, meaning maybe you're born at 29 degrees Scorpio, each sign has 30 degrees. So when I say you're born at 29 degrees Scorpio, that means that the next degree is going to be the next sign. That's one of the reasons that it's so important to know your birth time. You'll find when you go to an astrologer, they will be pretty adamant about needing to know your birth sign, so that they know what sign is on that eastern horizon. In addition to that, knowing your birth time is going to help with the different house systems, which I'm not going to go into. We have 12 signs, and each of those signs has a different way that it expresses out into the world. You might come across, say, if you're Virgo, you might come across to someone who's meticulous, or, someone who's very organized, somebody who can come up with systems. If you're Scorpio rising sign, you might be someone who is seen as delves deep into subjects and asks deep questions. That's what I wanted to tell you about the rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, you can always look it up on one of the free astrological programs, but you do need to be able to put in your birth information. You also can go to an astrologer and ask an astrologer to give you that information. But like I said, you really do need to know your birth time. So check your birth certificate, ask your parents if they are still around, or siblings, if the siblings were older than you, of course. See if there's any baby books out there. That's the rising sign. Our next question comes from Joan, who is in Forks, Washington. Did you know that Forks is considered the rainiest place in the country? As a matter of fact, there was a TV series, Twilight, was set in Forks. Oh my goodness, it put Forks on the map. Anyway, Joan is in Forks, Washington. And her question is, I've always wanted to live in Italy, and now I have an opportunity to move there for my work. The problem is my family. I have a large, close-knit family. All of us live in the same city and see each other frequently. I don't know what to do. I want to go, and I also don't want to leave my family. I'm 42 years old and single. Any advice on how to figure out what to do? That's a very good question, Joan. The first thing, Joan, is it's wonderful that you have a close-knit family and they support you. And I'm sure they'll support you in your endeavors with whatever it is you decide to do. Before I go into what you can do to help yourself figure out this issue, I'm looking at your age, and you're 42 years old, which means that you're going through a Uranus opposition. That means that at the time of your birth, Uranus was in the sign of Scorpio. And how do I know that? It's because Uranus now is in Taurus. And Taurus and Scorpio are opposed to each other. They're 180 degrees apart. This is how I know you're having a Uranus opposition. With Uranus, Uranus is the planet of change, and it's quick change, sudden opportunities. It's that lightning bolt, earthquake, change things right now. Sometimes there's absolutely no warning. Sometimes there is a little bit of warning, but not much. Having this opportunity come up is a sign of your opposition. Uranus is asking you to shift, to do something different, to change. It's giving you an opportunity. Doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's giving you a strong message that it is time for a shift. Now, whether you decide to move to Italy or not is up to you. Know that if you choose not to move, other opportunities may or may not come up. We can never know how that's going to pan out. If this is something that you want to do, then I would suggest you sit down with your family and let them know that this opportunity has come up and this is something that you want to do. Your family, I'm sure, will support you in this, and you can come up with ways to stay connected to the family while you're in Italy. If you're going to be living there long term or short term, or you're going to live there for the rest of your life, nobody knows. It's still an opportunity that has been presented to you that you need to make up your mind as to whether or not you're going to go or not. Your family, as I said, can support you in this, and I'm sure that they will. If you decide to go, they can come visit. You can make sure you do Zoom calls with them or WhatsApp calls. You can talk to them every day, or if you get together frequently, have you come in on a WhatsApp call or a Zoom call to be at the event, even though you're in Italy. There's a myriad of ways for you to stay connected with your family while you are in Italy, should you choose to actually go. I recommend that you talk to your family. In addition to that, sit down and get quiet and see what feels right to you. Ask yourself how you would feel if you didn't take this opportunity, if you didn't go. Also, ask yourself how you would feel if you went. How would you grow? How would you develop? Just ask yourself some really good questions about being there. I wish you all the best. Please let me know how everything turns out. Well, that is it for today, for this week's Ask Coach Marie. If you have questions that you want me to answer, please send them to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. In addition to that, I am doing a virtual healing retreat through Eventbrite. I'll put the link below so that you can go directly to the Eventbrite page. This is an astrology retreat called Harmonizing with the Cosmos, and it's designed to help you utilize your chart or use your chart to help you on a daily basis. I'll put the link below for you. And I also want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Please feel free to send me questions, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.